Hello friends, welcome back. In this tutorial we are going to study about presentation layer. The presentation layer is the sixth layer of OSI model, and this presentation layer is responsible for translation, compression and encryption. This layer is concerned with the syntax and semantics of the information exchanged between two systems. So as I told you that presentation layer is responsible for translation. So what does it mean? Now see what happens. Suppose there are two systems, right? And the processes in these two systems, they are exchanging information, right? Process of one system is exchanging information with the process of another system. So what is the problem? The problem is that as these processes are exchanging information, they usually exchange information in the form of character strings, numbers and so on, right? So what happens, before being transmitted, this information which is in the form of character strings, numbers and so on, it must be converted into bits. So the problem is that sender and receiver, they may be using different encoding systems, and this problem is solved by the presentation layer. The presentation layer provides interoperability between these different encoding methods, right? So what happens at sender? At sender, what happens this presentation layer, it transforms the message which is in sender dependent format into common format. So this message which is in common format, it is transmitted to the receiver, and when it reaches the receiver, then at the receiver the presentation layer changes this message which is in common format into receiver dependent format. Right. So in this way, this presentation layer, it is responsible for interoperability between these different encoding methods. Now as I told you that this presentation layer, it is responsible for compression also. What is the compression? Now what happens, the data compression, it reduces the number of bits to represent data. Right. Another responsibility of a presentation layer is encryption. So what happens in encryption? In encryption, the sender transforms the original information into another form, and the resulting message is sent over the network, right? And when the resulting message reaches the receiver, decryption takes place, right? So in decryption, what happens? In decryption, the message is transformed back into its original form. And what is the purpose of encryption? The purpose of encryption is that only intended receiver can read the message, right?